Good evening and welcome to Bharat News. I am Anjali Swami, and today we will be diving deep into the geopolitical dynamics of Asia, focusing on India's meteoric rise on the global stage. Is India on the path to becoming the next superpower? Let's find out. Setting the scene. According to the latest 2024 Asia Power Index by the Lowy Institute, India has emerged as the third most powerful nation in Asia, surpassing both Japan and Russia. This annual index, which ranks 27 countries based on economic capability, military power, diplomatic influence, and other metrics, provides a comprehensive view of the power dynamics in Asia. While the United States and China continue to dominate, India's ascension is a noteworthy shift that may redefine the regional power structure. India's rise to the third spot is impressive, considering that it scored 39.1 points, just ahead of Japan's 38.9. To put it in perspective, the United States still leads the index with 81.7 points, followed by China with the 72.7. However, India's climb is significant and suggests a major reshuffling in Asia's power hierarchy. Breaking down the numbers, let's take a closer look at what's driving India's upward trajectory. India's economic growth is a key factor, with a GDP of approximately 3.73 trillion. India is now the world's fifth largest economy, and it continues to grow at a faster pace compared to other major economies. The Asia Power Index scores India at 26.1 for economic capability, behind China and Japan, but ahead of Russia. Next, when it comes to military power, India ranks fourth globally in terms of active personnel, boasting over 1.45 million active duty soldiers. With a defense budget of 76.6 billion in 2023, India's military capability score stands at 45.2. Although it trails behind China and the United States, India's growing naval presence in the Indian Ocean is a strategic advantage. In diplomatic influence, India scores 70.2, reflecting its active participation in global forums like the G20, BRICS, and Quad, along with strengthening strategic partnerships with countries like the United States, Japan, and Australia. But experts suggest there's room for improvement in building relationships with East Asian nations, which could be key to solidifying India's influence. Cultural soft power, one of India's strongest assets in its cultural influence. From Bollywood films to yoga, India's soft power is far reaching. With a score of 38.7, India's global cultural footprint continues to expand, supported by its 32 million strong diaspora. This community not only contributes to the economies of the host countries, but also serves as informal ambassadors of Indian culture. Yet, while India's soft power is substantial, its defense networks score only 90.0, indicating moderate cooperation with regional partners. Comparatively, Japan, which is adopting a more proactive defense strategy, scores 58.3. Strengthening defense ties, particularly in Southeast Asia, could further elevate India's strategic standing. The decline of Japan and Russia, meanwhile, Japan and Russia are seeing their influence wane. Japan, which now ranks fourth, faces economic stagnation and increasing competition from South Korea, Taiwan, and China. Although Tokyo's defense ties with countries like the Philippines and Australia are strengthening, its economic capacity is slipping, scoring only 27.2 in that category. Russia's decline is even more pronounced. Once a formidable player in Asia, Russia is now ranked fifth in the index. with its focus largely diverted to its conflict in Ukraine. Its military capability remains strong at 54.8, but its economic capability has plummeted to just 12.7, reflecting its growing isolation and weakening regional role. This decline of two historically powerful nations leaves room for emerging players like India to step up. But the question remains, is India ready to fill that void? The bipolar power structure, US versus China, despite India's rise, the overarching power structure in Asia remains bipolar, dominated by the United States and China. The US leads in 6 out of 8 indicators, but its lead is shrinking, especially in military power, where China's capability has grown by 20% since 2018. China, however, is experiencing what analysts call a power plateau with a score of 72.7. Its influence has stabilized, and long term structural challenges might prevent it from overtaking the US anytime soon. India, on the other hand, has the potential to disrupt the status quo if it can close its power gap. This power gap, the difference between India's potential and actual influence, is significant. To bridge it, India needs to strengthen its economic ties, expand its military reach, and enhance its diplomatic engagements in key regions. The road ahead for India. So, what's next for India? If it wants to continue its ascent, experts recommend three main strategies: strengthening economic partnerships, especially within regional trade agreements, expanding military presence beyond South Asia and into the Indo Pacific, boosting diplomatic engagement with Southeast Asian and East Asian nations. India's rise to the third most powerful country in Asia is a pivotal moment for the region's power dynamics. If it can capitalize on its economic growth, military modernization, and expanding diplomatic reach, India may very well become the next superpower in Asia and possibly the world. And that's our deep dive for today. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more news and analysis here on Bharat TV. I'm Anjali Swami, and I'll see you next time.